All right. Hey, everyone. I am so excited to be doing this Zoom with you. I have been watching Samantha for quite a while, and a couple of people on my team were like, you have to get her on a Tips from the Top. And I'm like, well, all right. I mean, obviously, I'll ask. And she, like, right away was like, yes, of course. Tell me when. So I'm so excited for you guys to hear from her. So, Samantha, if you could, let me go ahead and unmute you. Just share a little bit about your story, when you started, what life was like before, whatever you want to share. So I just unmuted you, maybe. No.
There we go.
There we go. Perfect.
Perfect. All right. Hi, guys. So I'm Sam Bowers. I am out of Pennsylvania. I live right outside of Philly. I'm sure you guys have all heard of that area, but I am a mom of four who is a former bartender and restaurant manager. And I've been with It Works since 2015. I am currently a presidential diamond, and I have had probably the biggest roller coaster of a journey when it comes to this business. Being in 6 years, I've definitely been through all of it, the highs, the lows, the greatest feelings, the worst feelings, but through it all, I would not change any part of my journey for anything because every single part of it has taught me something. When I first started, just like everybody else you've ever heard, I just wanted to make a little bit of money, and I never thought that I would get to where I am today. But I knew that I wanted it really badly, and I knew that I wasn't going to give up until I got to that point. And back in the very beginning, my husband and I were both working opposite shifts. He worked first shift, I worked second. We had 3 kids at the time, passed each other at the door. And finances were tearing my marriage apart. We were so broke that we were paying for groceries in change, paying our bills based on the one that we thought that we could afford this month and the one that we thought that we could skip. And it was just this kind of mentality of we were broken and we weren't going anywhere. I am a 2-time college dropout. My husband never graduated from college either. He had a son when he was 20 years old that is not mine. I got pregnant at 22 with my husband's son. We were together for 2 months, and we were just kind of in this like cycle of life isn't gonna do any good things for us, and we were just stuck. So if any part of my story kind of hits you or feel like you might have been there, please drop me some love in the chat. But I also grew up in a family of credit cards and debt, and my mom had like a stack this big hiding in a drawer, and collections were calling all the time, and that was just not a life that I wanted my children to live. But it was one that we kind of got into the cycle of, and I knew that we needed something to change. I started as a customer a year before I actually joined as a distributor, and I am the biggest introverted red personality that you will ever meet. I don't like this stuff. Like, I do it now because I'm comfortable with it, but I didn't want to be in front of people. I didn't want to do lives. I didn't want to do my personality or my story in front of anybody. My team knows that I prefer to be home by myself versus out in a crowd. And that's just me. But what I did know was if I could somehow become that girl or somehow become comfortable in this skin, that I was going to be able to go places. And that's just kind of my story as far as that goes.
I love that. So I think it's funny that you said you're like I grew up with like my family had debt, and I remember the collections calling, and one of like my biggest memories of childhood is when we had like a home phone, which now don't exist, which is weird, but a home phone, it would call and it would be a collections, and I would tell my parents, oh, it's just your fan club. Like, that's just what we referred to it because it was less embarrassing to have a fan club of debt collectors, I guess. I don't know. But we would say, oh, it was your fan club. So we're going to hop right into it because I'm getting bombarded with questions for you. So y'all, will try to get to as many as we can, but we're not going to be here for 4 hours. Okay. I'm not doing it. So we've gotten literally 6 questions asking, what are your daily basics for the business? Like, what are your KPIs, tasks, non-negotiables, whatever you want to call them?
So for me personally, I am very KPI focused. I know that my team, the ones that are on, are like, that's all I hear you talk about, because you guys, it works. I've sat down across from Amber Parker and had a conversation with her and asked her why. And she said, because it's proven over time that if you do those specific tasks, you will see a tremendous growth in your business. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to give it my all. And to this day, even in the position that I'm in, that is what I do, because I know that that's what's going to bring things into your business. They are all important, from the posting to the messaging to the following up. they're all on there for a reason. And that's because you're hitting every single key factor in your business. So if you don't have the KPI list printed out and that's something that you want to do, just print it and check it off. It feels so good to just go down that list and be like, okay, okay, okay. There are things on that list that I don't love doing. Interaction is my least favorite thing. I just don't love it because it's very time consuming. And with how red I am, it doesn't produce immediate results. It is something that produces results over time, but I do know that in doing it, they will come in for you. So KPI is like the biggest thing. I went all the way from diamond to presidential on host to post. So it's something that I will never stop doing. I've always worked on Facebook. I just recently switched over to Instagram, but I'm so host to post focused. I feel like if I'm not getting my host to post up for the day, that I'm failing. And I also feel like if I'm not getting host to post up that are quality with people that are actually commenting, even if it's a good giveaway post, I feel like I'm not doing my job. So I always try and aim to get those host to posts up, whether it's 5 a day, whatever your goal is. Mine personally is 10 is like bare minimum a day. I aim for 20, you guys, because I know that this is a numbers game. And I know that the more that I get up, the more that's going to come from it and the more return I'm going to see.
Okay, so let's get into that because I know a lot of people, like y'all put a 1 in the chat if you're like, if one more dang person tells me to do host post, I'm gonna kill someone, because it's talked about on every single training, but there's a reason for it. But I know there are still so many people who are like, I'm just struggling with host post. Like I just cannot get a system that's getting things happening. And it just feels like an impossible task to get up even 5 host to post a day. So talk to us about your like workflow of how you get host to post up every single day to kind of make it a little bit easier for those people who are like, I would do them, but it's just like, I feel like it's impossible.
Absolutely. So guys, are a lot of you still working? I'm assuming yes, a lot of people on my team are too. So drop me a 2 if you're still working, whether it's full-time, part-time, whatever it is, even if you're a full-time busy mom. For me, let me throw some numbers at you guys before I get into why I preach host to post. There was a month where I made sure that I got up 10 every single day for the entire month. So I had up at least 300 posts through that month. That was last year during 2020 and all the crazy things that were going on. I still enrolled 110 customers, my highest month. In 2020, I enrolled 110 customers in 1 month. I got 300 posts up that month. So that was a bare minimum of 10 a day. How I got them up was I ask people constantly. So giveaway posts are like my bread and butter. And I know a lot of girls that are listening to me that follow what I'm doing believe it too, because giveaway posts are your entryway into thousands of other people. So I aim to get up at least 2 or 3 good giveaway posts a day. And that's to someone that has 1,000 followers or more. Because in doing that and getting someone with 1,000 followers, they're more likely to have a lot of comments on their post. I then get their friends to message me to confirm their entry. We all know the lingo. And if you don't, I can gladly send you my wording. But I have people message me. So let's say one of my girls, I saw Sarah was on. So let's say Sarah got a giveaway post up for me. I know Sarah's got a lot of friends. Sarah had 40 comments. That's a good average number for like a good giveaway post. I will reply to each comment. Please don't do it too fast or Facebook will get mad. I usually do 5 to 10 at a time and then I walk away. But I will reply to 5 to 10 saying something like, hey girl, make sure to follow me or add me, whichever you prefer, and message me the word, whatever it is. So for summertime, I'll do like, and message me the word summer to confirm your entry. So I always say confirm your entry so they don't think that they've won already. You don't want them messaging thinking that they won. As soon as they message, I'll send them like, hey girl, just confirming your entry. All I ask is that you throw a quick post up on your wall. This is how I'm able to do these giveaways every single month. Do you mind? They say yes. Then here's the kicker. I give them the option of whether they want to do a product post or they want to do a giveaway post. That's how I keep people from ghosting me. Because I know so often when we ask people to post and they say yes, and as soon as you say, oh, here's the post about gummies or here's the post about Thermophyte, they're like, oh, no, I don't want to post weight loss, right? Like we've all had that person. I ask them, hey girl, do you mind posting about my plant-based weight loss? If not, we can reshare the giveaway. And I let them tell me what they're comfortable with doing because it's their wall. So I don't want to tell them what they have to do. But those are just 2 ways that I do that is giveaways. Number 1, asking and getting those giveaway posts up. Number two is I ask people pretty often throughout the day if they'll post for me. I am now a full-time stay-at-home mom. We're actually a full-time stay-at-home family as of June, which has been an entire blessing. But up until that point, my husband was still working full-time. My oldest child is 16. I have a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 2-year-old. I got one learning to drive and one learning to go on the potty. So it's like no normal schedule. So I have to make sure that I'm able to do things pretty quickly without a toddler getting mad. Like we all had a toddler in our life that's like, no, mom, like I want your attention. So I want to be able to pick up my phone, send out 5 to 10 quick messages asking people to post for me, putting my phone away and doing something else. But I have that wording saved in my word board. So I'm able to go to people that have been viewing my story or go to people that have been liking my post, or even if you're green light messaging, which is people that are active on messaging, you can go down through your friends list, like whatever it is that you feel is easy for you to do quickly. Sometimes I will go in my messenger to messages that I've already sent and I'll go back like 6 months. Like I'll just keep scrolling. What are we, August? I'll go back to February, keep scrolling until I get to February and I'll message people from February. And I legit just ask them the same thing over and over. Like, hey, we're doing this month. Do you mind throwing up a post for me for a quick entry?
I love that. I love the idea. I don't know why I've never thought of it, but like giving them the option of weight loss versus the giveaway. Because when people ask me like, oh, what do I have to post? I'm like, oh, you can choose, but I don't normally give people the option. And I feel like that would make the rate of people that would post for you skyrocket. So we're getting a ton of questions about how do you personally message? Do you just go down your friends list? What works best for you?
So for me, obviously being in for a long time, and if you're not in for over a year, this won't work for you. But if you are, this is a really good tip. We all have memories on our Facebook. Go back to previous posts. So it might be about the product, it might be about the opportunity. And I will actually ask those people to post for me. I will go to anything that makes it quick for me to ask people and just go to that thing. So like I said, with going back a couple months and messaging from there, I'm notorious for posting random things that have nothing to do with the business, but I'm asking people questions. So we just bought our house last year and we're currently trying to figure out like paint and color schemes and stuff for the house. So I'll post like 2 quick pictures of like wall colors and ask people which one they prefer. Has nothing to do with my business, but it's asking them a question. I ask those people if they're post for me. I'll go and send them a message like, hey girl, I noticed that you're active on here lately. I'm doing this giveaway this month. Would you like an entry? Short, sweet, and to the point.
I love that. Okay, so you said that you aim for at least 2 to 3 giveaway hosts to post a day. Do you do the rest products or do you do like opportunity host to post as well?
So every single day but Friday, I do product and giveaway. On Fridays, I do strictly opportunity. I have ADD squirrel brain and I can't do all 3 in the same day or my mind will just go a million places. So tomorrow's Friday. Friday, my husband and I actually go golfing, which means I sit in the golf cart and work, but it's super easy for me to sit there and just get opportunity post after opportunity post up. And the best part about that for me personally, my 2 older boys are in sports. So Saturdays and Sundays, we're all over the place. Like sometimes we're at football or lacrosse or doing the things. It's so much easier for me to focus on potential distributor conversations at that point because I'm not trying to do 50 other things. So I get the posts up on Friday. People get paid Friday. So they're real interested in like, why wasn't my paycheck that big? I want to make more money. Like they're money focused on Friday. So if they see that opportunity post, that's the day that you're going to hit them the hardest. And that's when I'm able to be like, okay, so Saturday and Sunday, distributor conversations, comes back to Monday, get right back into normal things. And you guys, if anybody ever tells you no about opportunity or product or anything, just get a host to post out of them. That is 100% my last resort. If anybody ever says, no, thank you, I'm not interested at this time, I immediately throw my giveaway at them.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, so kind of switching places. Okay, so I know you said you normally used Facebook, you're kind of switching over to Instagram, but you also have a large following on TikTok. So how did you grow that? Because I know there's so many people who are like, I still want to do TikTok, but it also still terrifies me. So talk to us a little bit about TikTok.
Okay, so with TikTok, oh my gosh, I have to think of the exact month. I think it was July of last year is when I finally said, okay, I'm actually going to do the thing because I didn't want to do it either. I wanted nothing to do with it, but I kept seeing, guys, drop me a 3 if you see all these distributors that are like, I enrolled 100 DTs in a week from TikTok and I'm never going to be that person. First of all, stop counting yourself out, because you can be that person, because I did it. And I told myself that I was going to post on TikTok every single day, no matter what it was. And I was just going to be consistent, because the biggest thing that you can do in your favor in anything in this business is be consistent. So I would post one video a day. Now, here's how I grew my followers. And this is going to make you think that it's completely pointless, but I promise you that it's not. Me growing my followers had nothing to do with me talking about the products or the opportunity. The way that I grew my followers was making stupid recipes in my crock pot and sharing them on TikTok, because people were like, I'm going to follow her because I want to see more of this. TikTok followers will follow, or people will follow you because they want to see more of what you're doing. So if you're strictly talking about it works, or you have anything about it works on there, they're probably not going to follow you. So if you want to grow your followers on TikTok, that's the way you're going to do it, is find something else that people can relate to. My very old videos, I used to make fun of my teenage son and say things like, he bet me that I couldn't get more likes on this video than his last video. Like, just silly things to get people to be like, oh, I'm going to like her video more, so she wins. So just get on there, get on the FYP portion, start to look at what other people are doing, and just start recreating those videos. And in doing that, that's how you're going to grow your following. You can even go recreate some of my videos if that's what you need to do. But that's how I was able to do that. And then in more recently, we're doing a big giveaway on my team this month that is really eye-catching. We're doing like a Disney trip. We're giving away passes to Disney, so people really want to see that. So I've been talking about that a lot and giving people the opportunity to message me on Instagram from my TikTok. So they'll see my TikTok, they go and follow me on Instagram and message me about the giveaway on there. You guys, I grew 7,000 followers on Instagram in 72 hours just from doing that. Now, I'm not going to say that's going to work for everybody, because you have to have a decent following to start with, but just get those videos up and start interacting and start following people back. And that's how you're going to end up doing it. But you've got to be consistent. It can't be one of those things where you're like, oh, I'm going to post on TikTok for a week straight, and then I'm not going to do it for a month. It doesn't work that way. I post on TikTok even when I don't want to. I'll make videos and I'll save them in my drafts, and I'll post them on days that I'm not home, or like when I'm out and about, just so I have something up there.
So do you post them to TikTok and Reels? Okay. And do you
Yes.
record them and edit them on TikTok and save them and put them on Reels?
Yeah. So when you go to post a TikTok, you have the option of, when you know how you select your cover photo on TikTok.
Yes.
If you, instead of clicking where it says cover photo, like instead of hitting the words, if you tap the actual video, it'll bring it up, that you're able to bring it up full size without any of the words, and you can screen record it. So I'll screen record it real quick without anything on it. And that's how I put it onto my Reels. Like, I'll just cut out the part that I want, and then I put it on over there. With Instagram and TikTok, neither one of them want to see the watermark from the other. So if Instagram sees the TikTok watermark, it actually hurts your visibility.
Yes, I'm going to put a link in the chat, everyone, that it's a website that you can just copy your TikTok link to, and you can download it without a watermark too.
Yeah, there's that too. There's like an app and there's a website that you could do it too. But I've just been like, okay, like as soon as I go to post my TikTok, I'll just bring it up real quick. I'll screen record it and then just save it.
I've told myself I was going to do that multiple times, and every time I post it and I'm like, shoot, I forgot again. So that if you forget, like me, there's the link.
You take it. It'll make there's like muscle memory. Like once you're like in it, you'll start to remember to do it.
Yeah. My muscle memory is gone. This doesn't exist. So we got a ton of questions about how you manage being a busy mom of 4 and also running a super successful business, because it's so easy to get swayed one way or the other and get so caught up in it. So what are your tips for doing that?
So the biggest thing for my family as a whole is communication and being very open with my husband and my children of what I am doing and why. My kids all know that mommy and daddy would not be home if it wasn't for this business. And I am constantly reminding them, like my son the other day, my 10-year-old asked for new sneakers for school. And I was like, yeah, so you want those shoes? I need to go sit and work a little bit, or those are not happening. I'm just always talking to them about why. I'm sorry, my daughter is like trying to run the room. I'm always talking. That's one of the things, like Tonight, I told my husband, hey, I got to go do a Zoom real quick. You need to go watch the kids. I'll let you know when I'm done. But open communication is really, really big for us as far as me not feeling as guilty about what I'm doing. Mom guilt is real big. Drop me a 4 if you've ever felt mom guilt. And I've had my moments. I've had some where I felt like my daughter's entire almost 3 years of her life have passed me by without me being overly present for them. But then I also remember that those 3 years of her life, she was by my side instead of in daycare or with a babysitter. She was with me. It wasn't like me actually like being able to be on the floor with her 24/7, which is in a golden world, that would have been great, but that's not the way it is for us. She was next to me. But getting my work done with having 4 kids. So like I was saying, my boys are in lacrosse and football. My daughter does dance. Like my husband coaches all of the things. Like we're never all in the same house together. I have to be really diligent about what I do and when. So I actually have a schedule written on my phone that says like, wake up at this time, and from this time to this time, this is what you do. And this time to this time, this is what you do. And then I've got 2 hours where I'm not working my business. I do the most important things that I stress first thing in the morning. So I check in with my new distributors first thing, because then I'm not sitting there all day going, so and so is going to think that I'm ignoring them or not getting back to them. No, I already checked in with them. I gave them a post or whatever it is, told them I'll be back around in a little bit if they needed any help. And then I go about my day. And then when my daughter's napping, I get back on my phone and I start messaging. And I do things in a way that I get life out of the way first, because I don't want my life to revolve around my business. I want my business to revolve around my life.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's just figuring out what works for you, because like for me personally, if I had a schedule that was like, okay, from 9 to 10, you're doing this, I'd be like, no, like I don't do schedules. They stress me out. So I think just figuring that out and like asking yourself, like, what is going to help me the most? Like if you need to like write out, okay, so my kid naps from 12 to 2. So I'm going to get this, and this done. Like you have to figure that out. Sorry that if you can hear my Facebook in the background.
Sorry.
I don't know what's going on. So kind of switching gears, I'm sure you've been in for 6 years. You've had your fair share of funks or moments where you're just like, I just am not feeling it. Like, it's just not my day, not my week, not my month, whatever. What are your tips for getting out of a funk, or like forcing yourself to work after you didn't for a little bit, or like where you know what to do, but you're just like not doing it? Cause I know there's a couple people on our team who are just like, I know what to do and I know how to do it, but like, I can't force myself to do it.
So I think oftentimes when people get into that mindset, it's because they tell themselves that what they're doing is not as important as it should be or could be. And with this business, I came home from my full-time job when I went double diamond. Now, you guys, I didn't go double diamond until I was in for 2 years. So I had 2 full years of, and I know that probably blows a lot of minds, me being a president sitting here saying it took me 2 years to go double diamond, you guys, and it took me 3.5 to go triple. But I did it because in any moment that things got hard, or I felt like I didn't want to do this, or I didn't, and you guys, I deal with really bad anxiety and depression to the point where some days I don't want to get out of bed. Drop me a 5 if that's ever been you. Like there'll be days where I will sit and stare at a wall because I don't want to or can't do anything else. And that's just been me for a very long time, but I've learned how to cope with those things. But what I'm saying with that is there have been times where I would rather sit and stare at the wall than work my business. But I also know that if I were staring at the wall, my bills are not getting paid, my kids are not getting fed, the roof over our head might be gone. Things are going to drastically change if I don't work this business. Now, I know for a lot of people, this might not be your bread and butter. This might not be your main thing, but it could be. So what if instead of you saying, this isn't that important right now, you said, this is important to me and this is why, because it could be your main thing. And maybe you don't want it to be, but what if you do? What if you want to be home full time, or you want to have complete financial freedom, or you want to be able to do whatever, whenever you want to do it? In order to do that, this has got to become some sort of a priority to you. And one analogy that I used last night is my business on a graph looks like this. So like it's constant roller coaster. I've, gotten really highs, I've gotten lows, I've had people quit, I've had a rank, I've dropped a rank, like I've had life happen. I've had COVID last year, I've had death in our family, I've had all the things happen. I had 2 miscarriages in this business, like lots of things. But one thing in my business has never changed. Like there's always been a line going like this. There's always been a catalyst. Is my heart and my drive have never changed, because I know what I have in my hands and I know what I'm capable of doing because I've done it. And just because maybe you got to a certain point and maybe you fell back a little bit, you guys, when I went emerald, I fell back to executive. When I went double, I fell back to diamond. When I went presidential, I've fallen back to triple. So I've had things shift and things change, but I know what I am capable of. And I know what this business is capable of doing as long as I decide to show up and I decide to be consistent and do the things. And there are going to be days where you're like, okay, I really can't do all the things today. Like I just physically can't. Then you need to figure out the things that you can do, the things that are the most important. And that is obviously, like, for me, when I think what is the most important, let's say I have a completely crazy day. Like there's just a day where I just can't sit and I can't focus. Like we've all those days, we've got appointments, we've got kids doing this, we've got that going on. What are the most important things to me? Number one, I want messages in my inbox. I want things in black that I have to attend to. In order to do that, I've got to send messages out first in order to expect them back in. So if I'm thinking, what can I do to just keep the ball rolling? I'm sending out product model messages to people that are in my inbox that I haven't talked to in 3-4 months, sending them the same message. And I'll send it to you later if you want it, but I send them the same message. I'll send out like 10 at a time, put my phone down, maybe do 10 later, but I'm sending that out. If they say no, thank you, I'm offering them host to post, but I'm getting the ball rolling in that effect. And the other way that I'm doing it, and I mean, that's kind of the same thing though, is I'm making sure that I'm getting host to post up because I know that that's important. So I'm messaging for product and I'm messaging for host to post.
Yeah, I love that. It's just like, I think it's Kelly Brown that says like, what's like the next right thing you can do? Like you may not be able to do everything, but you can figure out what your next right move is. So I always tell people like, figure out like, what's your next small win? So maybe you haven't done your task list in 3 months and you have never finished your task list in 3 months. Okay, well, what's one task that you can do right now? Because then you're going to feel better. Okay, well, I did this. And then you can figure out what's the next thing I can do. So, okay, do you have any favorite self-development books that you've read? Or if you're like, you do podcasts more? Because I know where everyone's like constantly searching for like the next thing to read.
So I do not love to read, but I force myself to do it because I know that it's super important. And I'm a completely different person 6 years in than I was when I started because of the reading that I have done. My first tip for you guys, if you don't like to read or you just can't find the time, 10 pages a day. That's it. If you can make yourself read 10 pages a day, you will read an entire book before you realize that you've done it. But my favorite book, and I say this far too often, but guys, it's so, so good, is seriously Win the Day. I love Win the Day. I think that it is a tremendous read. It is an easy read. We're big sports people, so it was easy for me to fly through it. But that's one that I love. And the other one that I love that really kind of pushed me through the darkest points in my business and in my life is Chase the Lion. I don't know if you guys have read that at all either. But that book kind of made me realize that I am bigger than who I think I am, and I am capable of things far greater than I ever thought I was.
I just put those in the chat for those of you that are like, wait, what was it? They're in the chat. Go look, because if you're anything like me, you're like, wait, I was wanting that. Okay, so being in 6 years, you know that consistency is key. Whether it's TikTok, Facebook, host to post, whatever you're doing, it's the consistent action. So, do you have any tips for helping yourself be consistent every day?
My best tip for you guys is really just to get any list that you feel you can use. And I know I say KPI all the time, but maybe that might not be your list. There are some other really good ones out there, and I've shared them throughout my team, and I can send them to you too. But find something that you feel you are capable of doing. If you're newer, maybe the KPI is not right for you, and maybe something with maybe just 6 tasks is good. But I feel that having something out physically, pen and paper, is how I work the best because being a red, I love winning. So I love that satisfaction of being able to check something off once I've completed it. So having that in front of me is the best way for me to do it. And I try truly to get those things done first thing. Like I do the things that I don't love. Autumn's gonna laugh. I eat the frog. Like I just get it over with. That's in Win the Day. Once you read it, you'll see that. But I just get it over with. And I do not love to do my interaction, like I said earlier. So I do it first. I get my birthdays done and I get my interaction done because I know that getting those out of the way, then I'm able to breeze through the rest of the things.
Yeah, I love that. If you also like to see things checked off, but you don't like pen and paper and you're like me, there's an app called Done. I'll show you guys. It's literally like you put all your task lists in and then you just tap it. Like, so like for one of them, it's like 50 PDT messages or whatever. So you can tap it every time you send a message. So it shows you like on bars how far you are through that task for the day. So if you like technology better, that is a way to do that. Okay. So I hate this question, but I'm going to ask you anyways, because I'm just glad I'm not the one answering it. What is something that you know now that you wish you knew when you started? Because I feel like I could have 47,000 different answers for that.
I mean, I could take this a million different ways, but I think the biggest thing and something that I still struggle with often myself is to not compare yourself to anybody else. Your journey is your journey and you're writing your story. You're not writing anybody else's. So it doesn't matter what so-and-so is doing. It doesn't matter even what you did in the past. What matters is what you're going to be doing moving forward. And I've had to put the blinders on in my business more times than I want to admit, because every single stage that I've ever been through, and I know that this is the devil testing me, but I've had to say, I cannot watch this person. I cannot watch this person because they are not who I am and they are not where I am going. So it might be someone who's promoting faster than you. It might be someone who's bringing in more customers than you. It might be just someone who you're like, I want to be that person. Why can't I do what they're doing? It doesn't matter who they are or what they are. You've got to just say, you know what, enough is enough, and you've got to walk away. There are ambassadors that I've had to unfollow on social media because I'm like, I can't follow them because I have this immense fear of I'm not good enough because I follow them. And they're great people. I'm not saying anything on that retrospect. What I'm saying is I need to make sure that I'm focusing on myself and my journey. So when it's time for you to promote or time for you to do any things, just focus on doing the things and stop focusing on everybody else around you.
Yeah, that's so good. I've told people that too, that like sometimes if this person's stressing you out because you're like, they've enrolled 9 distributors today and I haven't enrolled 9 distributors this year. If you watch their stuff and instead of feeling inspired, you feel down, that's not the person for you to follow. That doesn't mean they suck and they're a horrible person. It just means they're not doing it for you. They're stressing you out instead of lifting you up, and they don't even know you. Okay. No one knows who, like, no one looks and is like, oh my God, this person unfollowed me. Like, we don't know. So if you're following someone because you thought they were inspiring, or you hear that they do all these things, but instead it makes you feel like crap about yourself, don't follow them. Find someone else to follow. And also one thing I want to share with you guys is if you have sidelines that you're both like running for a promotion, or maybe they don't know that you're like watching them, you never know what's going to happen. And I share this all the time. There was a girl who I remember we were both, I think, trying to go executive or something. And she went executive and I didn't. And I was like, man, like, why, how can she do this? And I can't, like, what's so wrong with me? Why can't I do this? And I was so down on myself. Y'all, 5 years later, that person is still executive. Okay. You never know. Just because someone went faster than you doesn't mean you can't go farther or you can't go there too. So don't let someone else's success discourage you, because that's not what it's supposed to do.
Which is funny that you said that, because when I was an emerald and trying to go diamond, there was a girl on my sideline, same team under the same person. She went from emerald to double in the very same month. And guess what, you guys? She quit and went to LuLaRoe, and now she's not doing either. And here I am. So you never know what's going to happen with somebody. Just mind your own business. Like, I know that sounds silly, but seriously, just stay in your lane and worry about what you're doing.
Yeah, because it's so easy to let yourself be stressed out and be like, man, how did they promote to emerald or executive or whatever? And I'm still whatever. Doesn't matter. Y'all, I've been in for 5.5 years now, which is crazy. I would love to be triple pres or ambassador, but that doesn't mean that when I do go triple, I'm not going to be like, well, I'm happy I'm triple, but I wish it happened sooner. Like, no, I'll still be happy I'm triple. Like, Sam, you probably wanted to be ambassador by now, but it's not like you're going to go ambassador and be like, well, it's only exciting if it happens within 5 years. Like, no, it doesn't matter.
The best part is, you guys, those things are going to happen when it's your time to happen. It's funny because I was actually in my laundry room thinking this exact same thing earlier. If someone were to ask me about my journey and me getting to where I am now, I'm going to tell them, things happened when it was my time for it to happen. And it happened on my time because there were lessons that I needed to learn or things that needed to happen before I was ready to take that on.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about, we are like almost halfway through the month. And I know y'all put I never know what number. So we're just going to put a 7 in the chat. If you, on the first of the month, you're like, okay, I'm going to do this month, whether it was a rank, an enrollment number, a volume number, whatever. You picked out a goal and now you're almost halfway through and you're like, well, I don't know how that's going to come together. Like I was feeling real good about myself that day. Like you put your goal pretty high and now you're like questioning yourself. We've all had those times. So talk to that person because like it doesn't matter what your goal is. You can get anything done in 18 days. Like there is so much time left. So talk to that person who just feels like I can't hit my goal this month.
I'm right there because I think like I'm there every single month. I tell myself I'm going to do all of these crazy things and then life happens or the month happens and you're like, oh, dang. Well, guess what, you guys? 18 days left in the month. There is no reason why you can't wake up tomorrow morning and show up as the person you said that you were going to be on the first of the month. It is never too late. You can start at any point. There have been the last 3 days of the month that I've pulled off crazy things that I never thought were going to happen because I finally said, you know what? I don't care what it takes. Today is the day that I'm going to show up and I'm going to make it happen. So we have almost 3 weeks left. If you look at it on the calendar, I was looking today, I was like, yeah, we're good. But it doesn't matter what day it is, whether it's the 1st of the month, the 15th of the month, the 25th of the month, or the 30th of the month, you can show up at any point. And just because we're almost halfway through August and you might not be where you said you were going to be, it doesn't mean that you can't start today and set yourself up for an even better month next month in September. It really does not matter. There have been months where I have been like, this has been probably the worst month that I ever thought that I was ever going to have in my business. And that's been where I'm at now. And I just said, you know what? I don't care what happened up until this point. What I do care about is what I'm going to do from here on out. So get that list out, get your plan out, get whatever it is you need to get in front of you and say tomorrow morning, or heck, you can even start tonight if you want to say, I'm going to start and I'm going to show up and I'm just going to do the things, you guys, because if you're not doing the things, then the results aren't going to come from them.
Yeah, I love that. You can choose at any moment to show up as the person that you want to be. You just have to make a decision and you have to hold yourself accountable to it. So this has been amazing. Y'all put thanks in the chat or whatever. I want to know what is one last thing that you feel on your heart that you're like, I just want to share this. Like, I feel like someone needs to hear this.
I think the biggest thing that I've been saying on Zooms lately, you guys, is it doesn't matter who you are, what your background is, where you come from, whatever it is that you had in your past, you can show up as a like a better version or a higher version of yourself at any point. You really just truly need to believe that you're capable of making that happen. And in order to do that, it takes a lot of self-reflection and looking in a mirror and saying, I am capable and I am worthy. Because 6 years ago, I sat in the back of the room and I just thought, I really want to do these things. It would be awesome if I could be up on that stage. I didn't even need to have my name announced on anything. I just wanted to be up there, you guys, because to me, that was the vision of success in this company, was to get up on that stage. And I just kept telling myself, I might not be there yet, but that's where I am going. And I'm just going to stay consistent and stay the course until I get to that point. And once I get to that point, I am going to walk up there so humbly because I know what it's going to take to get me there. So I'm never going to stand up there and be like, oh, it was nothing. It didn't take anything. Like I just got up here one day. No. I am humbled in the fact of what it took to get there, the lessons that I have learned, the mistakes that I have made, the things that I did right, things I have done wrong, all of those things, because I knew that every single piece of that is part of that journey.
I love that. Thank you so much for taking time to hang out with us tonight, to share your wisdom. I know I took so many notes. I know a bunch of people did too. So for those of you that I know are going to ask, I will put this recording up on my YouTube tonight. Please don't bombard Sam asking for her scripts. That is never fun. So I will share what I get when I can. And I hope you guys have an awesome Thursday.